Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hello, my friends. Welcome one and all to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, taking your calls in the studio for 2 hours today at 1-800-229-3000. What is on your mind today? Taking care of an aging spouse or parent? How's your marriage? Did you say yes to the dress but not to the stress? Well, we can help you with all that and more when you call us at 1-800-229-3000. Licensed marriage and family therapist Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris is here to help. Hello, Dr. Jacqui.
Hello.
Great to have you here. And also on the program to give you good advice is clinical psychologist Dr. Alice Benton, who's going to start us off with a lesson on...
Well, an inevitability of summer, because in addition to pool days and popsicles, you also usually get squabbling, sibling squabbling, happening in our home. I was looking up a Bible verse about what the Bible has to say about the tongue. It talks about it quite a bit, and a new verse came to my attention, Proverbs 12:18. Rush words are like a sword thrust, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. There have been a few more sword thrusts than healing in our family lately because our family, as many families are, we're made up of provokers and pleasers. And our provokers like to have fun with us by doing the following. Either they joke, but too harshly and too long. They play, but they push the envelope. They might ask critical questions with the shrewdness and intelligence that they have, and combative questioning when they don't like what their parents or siblings are saying. So, for instance, time for you to come off screen. Well, why? Why do I have to? Nobody else has to. They don't really want to know the answer to that question. They just want to change what you're asking of them. So provokers have many great qualities. They might be the future lawyers of the world, but it's our parental job to teach them how to rein in their provocative nature so that we sensitive pleasers can put up with them. So I wanted to share a couple of the ways that our family is handling the squabbling. And full disclosure, you know, I'm a psychologist. My husband is a counselor. Even with all the tools that we have at our disposal, and we practice them, we practice what New Life teaches. This still happens in our home because we're all imperfect. So we are adding in intentional prayer, especially during mealtime, and we ask everyone in the family to confess how they add to the negativity. My workaholism, my anxiety, my fatigue, and my absence are my part in how I add to the family negativity. We come against Satan in that prayer because he's the master of squabbling and discord, and I suspect he often has a hand in our temptations. We're memorizing that very Bible verse that I shared with you because the word has the power to change our hearts. We're enacting consequences. Children who are kind are welcome to screens. Those who choose not to be kind lose out on their screen privileges. And any privilege that's important to our children could be removed as a particular consequence. Lastly, we talk so much about the comfort circle on this show, and I find it to be the best structured conversation to bring about healing. And so at least once a week, we're trying to do a comfort circle where those who have been hurt can express their hurts, and those who have provoked are in the listening role. And that really soothes a lot of those sword thrusts. It heals those wounds.
Love that. That is so great.
It's never too early to do the comfort circle, huh?
I would say not. Keeping our emotional accounts clean, because if we take care of the hurts when they're small, they won't accumulate to the big explosions and even the ending of relationships. It's by taking care of it when it's small and we don't have a lot of emotional injury. That's when it's more manageable. It still works right before the explosion too to try a comfort circle, but the sooner we start, the better.
Very good. And we talk about the comfort circle all the time here on New Life Live. It's in the book, How We Love and How We Love Our Kids, which both are available for purchase on the newlife.com store. So check those out. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with your questions. So call us up, grab an open line, 1-800-229-3000.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to intimacy in marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy in Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy in Marriage Weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
If you live in a state that charges you for grocery bags, next time the checker says, "Did you bring your bags or do you need to buy some?" just tell them, "No, sir, I brought my New Life tote bag." And you can get this for $1 right now at the newlife.com store. We're doing dollar days. And yeah, you can grab one, grab a bunch. No item is over $5, but most of them are just $1. Again, that's on the newlife.com store. Once everything is gone, it's gone. So get it now. Stock up. These could be great gifts for friends, family. Holidays are just a few months away. And you want to take advantage of this. newlife.com in the store, the Dollar Day sale. A lot of the books we talk about here on New Life Live are there available for $1.
This tote bag is just $1?
This tote bag is just $1.
Consider it bought. I'm walking out with
Well,
that.
not this one. I bought this one. This is mine. I'm going to write my name on it.
Somebody
Just
get
make
one
sure
from me.
Alice doesn't take it from me.
Someone pull one for me from the back office, please. I'm buying one.
Yes, perfect. All right, 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today. And what do you say we go right to the phones? We have Angela in Baltimore. Thank you for calling in, Angela. How can we help you today?
I have a guilt complex pertaining to caring for my parents because I believe I'm doing it biblically based on what the word says. However, my son is looking at me like, "Mom, you done took care of Dad, now you're taking care of Mom." And she has wandering dementia that makes her wander throughout the city where she lives, and we have to take her down and locate her to get her back home.
Oh, wow.
So I'm wondering, I don't think it would be a good idea to put her in a home because she still has her mind. She still is very active, but she is just, forgetful with dementia. And I'm just wondering, would that even be, I don't know how our Lord and Savior would look at me as if I was to put her in a home just so that I can have a life. And at the same time, with me being a caregiver, even though I don't even have power of attorney, and I've been doing this since 2020, I feel guilty even trying to get paid as a caregiver to care for her.
Dr. Jacqui?
Yeah. I hear your heart, and I know how hard it is to have to make a decision to put a parent somewhere other than their home. So there's lots of things that you have to think through. So my first recommendation is that you let us connect you with a counselor that can help you walk through this, because being a family caregiver is extremely draining. And sometimes what I used to see when I was a nurse and working in elder care is sometimes the caregiver would end up sick or hurt or worse because they weren't taking care of themselves because they were taking care of someone else. And so I understand where your son is coming from. He is seeing the wear and tear and the weight of being mom's caregiver cause deterioration in you. So getting with someone who can help you walk through this and come up with a good plan would be my first recommendation. Secondly, sometimes it's best to have a person in a facility where they're safe, right? And so if they are wandering off, they're not safe. If they have dementia and they're forgetful, they're not safe. And so while you may think she still has her mind and is capable of being in her home, because a lot of things are old memories. It's the long-term memory. And so she can perform pretty well because the long-term memory is still intact. But she's having a hard time with short-term memory and keeping new information. That's dangerous for her. So you do need to talk to someone about finding the right fit for her, whether that's having a caregiver come to the house, whether that's getting with social services and having them do an evaluation so that you can be paid for her in-home support. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is honoring your mother and father, because you need that income if you're not able to work because you have to work at taking care of your mom. And the guilt, that's the enemy. There's nothing here for you to feel guilty about. I wonder, though, if there's some shame, if somehow you don't feel good enough. And so it feels like if you don't make the right decision, then you're not accepted. Does that feel true?
I don't know what you mean by the shame. I just looked at it like, since I was little, I just felt like that's what I'm supposed to do, is take care of my parents.
Ever since you were little, you felt like you were supposed to take care of your parents. So you've been parentified. You were made to be responsible for the adults and probably all the other kids in the family. And so this is your role, and giving it up feels near impossible. Mm-hmm. I experienced something over the past couple of years as my dad was going through cancer and dealing with that illness, having to have him be in a skilled facility. And as a nurse, it was something I always said I would never do. But it got to the point where it was unsafe for him to be at home. It was unsafe for him. It was unsafe for my mom. He couldn't get the best care at our house, so we had to take him somewhere else. I didn't love that, and we took turns making sure someone was with him as much as possible so that he wasn't abandoned there. It was really hard. I had to grieve that because it wasn't a decision I wanted to make, but I had to do what was best for him, and that's what I did. I had to live with how bad it felt, but that's the other reason I think you need to meet with someone to process through this this feeling that you are ultimately responsible for the care of your parents and have always been. That's going to also continue to weigh on you as you're in this grief. And I think also you're experiencing prolonged grief because this is an ongoing deterioration that now that she has dementia, we don't know how long that will be. And you will be grieving losses, little losses over and over and over again, and having a really good counselor that can walk through that with you, I think, is really important.
Dr. Ellis?
Oh,
Angela?
Thank you, because I never even knew that there was an option to even have a counselor.
Okay.
Because I had to move so fast with making decisions while I was working last year, so I didn't even know there was an option.
Yeah, you meeting with a therapist, processing your experiences and what decisions are needing to be made, maybe even having a family session with your son, and so that he can maybe shed some light on what he's experienced and witnessed over his life of you being everybody's caregiver.
Angela, I hope and pray my daughter has such holy consideration for me in my old age as you have for your parents, and I heard you cared for your dad as well. You have such a tender heart, and that you're trying to do this in a God-directed way. I hear that's very important to you, to live by your faith as you try to love your mom well. Angela, have you historically been criticized quite a bit by some of the people in your life?
Well, my father, my siblings. I'm the youngest of 11, so the only ones I had to take care of was my mother and my father, and of course raised my son. My son is now 30. But it's like everyone is looking at me like, why am I putting this on myself?
Oh, people criticize you for taking too much on.
Yes, but to me, I don't see where it's too much to do because I'm able to do it.
You have a high physical capacity and a high emotional tolerance level. So, okay, when people say, back off, you don't have to do this much, it's pretty confusing to you because you're trying to love well and you've been a good giver your whole life. So I want you to consider a couple of things as you decide whether or not to allow other people in to assist with this. Have you ever paid taxes in your entire life?
Of course.
And have you ever felt like you had to pay too much?
Of course.
As we all do. The reason I ask is because the payment you would receive for taking care of your mom is part of the way our country works, where we pay into the system, and then when we have needs, we get to take some back, as well as your mom and your dad and all the taxes that they paid in. So the money that you would receive would actually probably sustain you in being able to love and care for her longer than if you don't tap in to that money that's available that you have paid into through your taxes. I also want you to think about when you wonder, should you pull back, should you let other people come in and help? You know that God wants us to help in a free way. And so if we keep serving, but we start to do it with avoidance, bitterness, resentment, anger, those are the signs that we're helping too much. Or if we're so over fatigued and burned out that our health starts to suffer, that's another sign that I might be doing too much. Maybe someone else should carry this with me. The Christian community is designed for us to carry each other's burdens when they're too big for one person to bear. So because you're the one of 11 who has been there at the ready to help, the other 10 may have become overly reliant on you being the helper. And it might be good for their souls to be asked to come in and serve alongside you. Now, you probably do it the best and the gentlest, and so it might be hard to trust the quality of care that they would give. But it honors other people to let them help us carry the burden. It's a holy thing, and it's very character building. What are you feeling with all this advice we've given you? Because I've heard some heavy tears come out a couple times while we've been talking to you.
I'm feeling much better. I can breathe. But thank you for your advisement. I spoke to my siblings, and none of them are willing to help or sacrifice, which is fine, because I'm going to continue on and be there. But I just needed the correct type of counseling and advisement.
Yeah. When Alice was talking, something popped up for me, so I'm going to share it now since you just said that. I had a thought that people are criticizing what you're doing because they don't want to have to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let them. Let them.
Exactly.
They can do and say what they need to do and say. You're doing what is right for you and for your mom. With your son, he's probably had some time that he missed of you because you've been caring for everyone else, and he sees what no one else sees. And so I would also just spend time validating that and letting him know that you hear him, and exploring the ways in which you can also be getting good self-care, and show him the balance. Show him how to love your mom and care for her and honor her, and also love his mom and care for her and honor her.
Okay. That makes sense.
Lastly, Angela, your tears that bubble to the surface, they tell me your heart has been holding on to a lot. Because when we give so much to others, we tend to not get much attention on our own hurts and our own burdens. I hope you'll let us connect you with a counselor if you're not with one already, because when you can have an outlet to talk about your stresses and frustrations and loneliness, then you get more strength to keep serving.
Exactly. Thank you. I sure will. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Angela. Thanks for calling today. Don't hang up. We're going to put you in contact with a counselor near you, and we also want to send you a resource from the newlife.com store. What would you guys suggest?
Take your life back.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Take your life back. Now, something Angela mentioned about counseling, she said, I didn't even know that was available to me. I think people just think counseling is just for, I don't know.
You have to have severe mental illness and something. You must be crazy in order to go and see a therapist. A lot of people think that's for crazy people.
Can we dispel that right now?
Or either that's for crazy people, or honestly, growing up in Black culture, I often heard that's something white people do. That's white people stuff. So a lot of cultures that are not white American will think that it's not appropriate for them to get therapy. They shouldn't need it. We don't air our dirty laundry. So we need to break the stigma. Absolutely.
Wow.
It's really for anybody that's been hurt and wants to grow past the hurt and get stronger and be better. It's for all of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right, Angela, so good hearing from you today. Thanks for calling in from Baltimore, Maryland. We're going to take a quick break here at New Life Live, but we're going to be here for 2 hours today. We would love to hear from you. If you want to talk to Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris and Dr. Alice Benton, 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. Liz, we're going to get to you when we come back here on the program right from the break. And you can also send us your questions online. If you can't call in when we're here in the studio, you can email your questions to us. You can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the radio and answer it. You can find out how to do that on our website, newlife.com/radio. We'll be back.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, July 18th through the 20th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Ladies, if sexual betrayal is part of your story, please plan to join us at the Restore Healing After Betrayal workshop in Washington, D.C. the weekend of November 7th. Betrayal trauma is painful, and we provide a safe place for you to come and begin your healing. Led by 2 therapists who have been there and come out the other side whole, you'll be joined by other women walking the same path. You'll be seen, heard, understood, and you'll find the hope that what happened does not have to define you. Visit newlife.com/restore for all the details. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today here on New Life Live. And now let's talk to Liz in Atlanta, Georgia, who's watching us on YouTube. Let's wave hi to Liz. Thanks for calling in, Liz.
Hi, thank you for taking my call today. I'm a long-time listener.
Oh, thank you.
And okay, and so my question is to Dr. Jacqui and to Dr. Alice is, how do I interpret a recommendation given to me by my daughter's psychologist, which I do not agree with, and it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable?
Interesting. How old is your daughter?
She's 37, so I'm going to give you the background. So I was visiting my daughter in Europe very recently, and she's married and a homemaker, and she has 3 boys aged 8, 6, and 18 months. She asked me to take the 8-year-old for an afternoon hockey practice, which was scheduled and had been paid for. When we got to the field, my grandson could not locate his team or his coach, and this was only his second practice. So we asked a volunteer, and he told us that his team had almost finished their practice. So we had to go home. So when my grandson, back to my daughter, when we got to her house, my daughter had a huge big meltdown and said that, and was angry and said it was my fault and told me to get out of the house. And I left the house because I was not staying with her. My lodgings were close by. And then when I got to my place, I messaged my son-in-law. It so happened that the practice time had been changed, and my son-in-law forgot to inform my daughter as he gets the emails about the practices.
Okay.
My daughter had been seeing a psychologist for over a year for childhood issues and current traumas, things like that. So my daughter and I had a joint session with her the week before. Then the day after this incident about the hockey, I had a solo session with her because the psychologist wanted to get to know me and my childhood, my relationship with my mother, etc.
Okay.
So I told her what happened. She said, the psychologist said, it was a bit extreme for my daughter to tell me to get out of the house. Then the psychologist asked me, then what did you do? I said I contacted my son-in-law by message. No, actually she asked me, did you contact my son-in-law? I said yes. And she said, I should not have. What I should have done was I should have called someone in the U.S. and talked to them about what happened. I asked her why. She said, if I contacted my son-in-law, it was like I am coming from a superior position.
Okay.
This was not my motive.
Yeah.
I have a good relationship with my son-in-law, and I know that I was not triangulating because I know what that means.
Yeah. Dr. Jacqui, what would you say based on what you just heard?
I agree with you. I think you were right to reach out to the other parent because something went wrong and that was confusing. The daughter really felt strongly that she'd given you the right information and you'd blown it. You knew that wasn't true, and so to check with the person who directly gets the information just makes sense to me. Why you would have been instructed to contact someone in the U.S. to have a conversation about this doesn't make sense to me. Maybe Dr. Alice.
Well, the angle I want to attempt to take, Liz, is that I would guess the psychologist was trying to get you to stand in your daughter's shoes. Your daughter's behavior is inexcusable given the circumstances, and it's quite surprising and confusing. And when behavior is so explosive and it's much beyond the incident itself, it's a clue that it's about something else, somebody else, or about old history with you or with her dad. So people not following through is perhaps a wound that she has. I think all of us parents are guilty of not following through. I learned way too late to not promise my children very much at all because life gets in the way and it's so hard to follow through. So instead I give a lot of maybe, we'll see, we'll try. But I bring that up because I've caused my children pain in the times I did promise and didn't follow through. And so now today they can be overly reactive when I do something similar, but I'm innocent, but I wasn't innocent historically. And then if my kid's father has done anything like that as well, it adds to their reactivity to me. Some of it belongs to him, but it comes out at me. And so I suspect the psychologist was trying to say, let's get into your daughter's shoes and see, did it probably upset her that you contacted him? Even if you were right to do it, we want to understand our loved one's upset and ask questions about it and be a good listener to it so that we can heal. Also bringing up, I know in the past I've done things like this to you. Your dad did stuff like this to you. You've got a wound here and I stepped on your wound, even though I'm completely innocent. But it's trying to understand her reactivity because she has some reason why it got that big.
We'll continue the conversation when we come back here on New Life Live, and we want to talk to you as well. 1-800-229-3000 is the number, and we're going to be here for 2 hours today in the studio, taking your calls, helping you with life's struggles. 1-800-229-3000.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Liz calling in from Atlanta, Georgia. We had another question for you, Liz. Dr. Jacqui, what was that?
Liz, as I was listening to Dr. Alice, I had this thought. Unfortunately for my children, they were late everywhere they went all the time because I'm their mom.
Okay.
To the point of actually having to write standards and write a letter to me about how disrespectful it is to be late because one of their teachers insisted and wouldn't listen to the fact that they don't drive. They were 12 and 10.
Yes.
So as Dr. Alice was talking, I wondered, were you ever late for things? Were there problems between you and your daughter in her childhood of you getting her to places she should be?
Not with being late, but I do have to tell you that, I and her father got divorced 30 years ago. She was only 7 years old. It was a very traumatic divorce. And there were a lot of hostilities. She has seen these hostilities. So, she's working on those. So, there is a trauma there from her. Yeah.
And it sounds like she has maybe a belief that at times you don't have her best interests at heart, or you're going to do what you want to do and not what she wants to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She has that feeling towards me.
Okay.
Although I have, done so much for her, and I love her, the grandchildren, so absolutely. They're like being with them is like being in heaven for me. So she knows that I love them, so much. But.
And did you guys have another conversation after you got the information from her husband?
With her, well, she apologized to me the next day.
Okay. And
about her behavior.
Okay, so you guys did talk that out, but this was about the psychologist saying that you shouldn't have called the husband, and that you should.
Where I.
And I understand too. I can see what Dr. Alice is saying. In the psychologist role, their client is your daughter. All right. So they're looking at what would have benefited her, what will benefit the relationship, and the idea that you would process it with someone other than her husband may be beneficial, especially since the daughter feels like you do whatever you want to do and not necessarily what she wants. But I'm really glad to hear that you guys were able to talk it out and that she did apologize and that you guys resolved that aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's shocking how much hostility between parents affects children, even adult children. Children take it to heart when they see their parents being harsh or even mistreating each other. And they can even hold it against the victim parent, what the perpetrator parent does. And so those things that have been said, they carry weight often for the rest of the life of the child. And so some of the reactivity can come out based on the old hostilities that they witnessed. And the willingness to never say, shouldn't you be over that? That was so long ago. I'm better than that. I've done all my work. I apologized. Let's not talk about it anymore. But rather to say, it scared you that your dad and I treated each other that way. It still hurts you. I'm going to be a listener. Tell me how it affected you. And how did the hockey practice remind you of that, of some of that old stuff? A gentle, curious listener brings so much healing. Defensiveness and justification and explanation, they undermine your good intentions, unfortunately.
Liz, we're going to send you a copy of How We Love from the newlife.com store, so don't hang up. Now let's go to the Bahamas. Hey, great idea. Simone is calling in, listening on Life Talk. How can we help you today, Simone?
Hello. Good day.
Good day. The Bahamas. That is so cool. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm 31 and I've been married for 6 years. I want to know, what do I do when I feel saddened or empty or numb when I'm physically intimate with my husband? When we have sex, I just want it to be finished with and over with. I cried before in the past. I cried after sex or cried during sex once. So just wanted to know, what do you recommend I do to help that?
One, I would start with therapy, and so that you can dig around in your past, see if there's anything there that might be causing it. Maybe do a deep analysis of the relationship, the start of it, some sexual history analysis, and see if there is something that's gone on with you, either physiologically, something organic in you that is making this difficult, or if this is something in terms of attachment and connection that feels like there's something missing in the intimacy of the relationship. Because sometimes sometimes it's difficult to connect, and there are some of us who cannot connect sexually and feel intimate with our partner without there being certain connections throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. And so if you don't feel like you have that on a regular basis in the day-to-day life, then that sexual intimacy can feel very hurtful. It can feel like something being taken. And you said you feel numb. And so I just feel like there might be a whole lot underneath that numbness that a therapist could help you uncover and learn to be able to talk to your husband about. Speaking of which, have you talked to your husband about how you feel?
In the count, we have a marriage counselor that we've been seeing from last year during the summer or after the summer. Our sessions have decreased to once every 2 months because he feels that we're doing better. He recommended that I do a hormonal test to see, just to rule out hormones. My hormones are fine. He also recommended that we do schedule sex days. We've been being consistent with that, so I fulfill my obligation as a wife. My husband, I mentioned it that sometimes I just don't feel like having sex. I just don't feel anything. And I asked him if it's wrong. I mean, if it's okay to continue to have sex even though I don't feel anything. He said it's fine. And I said this in front of my husband. He said it's fine that you continue doing it, and eventually, hopefully, the emotions come back.
What's your relationship with your husband like on the day-to-day?
We talk. We have one son.
Has this change begun? Was this after the son was born that this numbness began, or were you feeling that before?
No, it's definitely during my pregnancy and after my son was born. My husband wasn't there emotionally or physically there when our son was born during my maternity leave. He was by his friend's house most of the time. And he just wasn't the best dad or husband during that time when he should have been. He admitted to it that he wasn't the best husband when he should have been there. But, I think all the bitterness is gone. I told him about my bitterness. I think it's all gone. I think I forgave him. But I just see him in a different light. And I feel like that's just him, like where he just rather be a bachelor. Or he lives the bachelor life where he wants to go to his friends every day.
And so that's currently, he does that still?
Yeah, he still does that. He decreased his time, but he still goes every day.
So a bachelor husband wants you to feel totally engaged and involved in sex, but it's almost like having sex with a stranger, or maybe even worse, with a man who's supposed to be loving and devoted and isn't. So your body is saying, I don't want to have sex with a bachelor. I want to be intimate with a husband who's devoted to me and our son. Even though I believe you that you have forgiven him, there is lingering pain and ongoing behavior on his part to elicit that pain. Your body's having a protective reaction. And although I agree it's okay to push yourself to be sexually intimate when you're not feeling like it, because in a good, healthy marriage even, women have a reactive sexuality rather than a proactive sexuality, where we usually respond physically after it's been initiated and there's some warm-up and there's some emotional intimacy and physical affection. We don't have spontaneous sexual feelings and desires. Usually, it's just the way that we're built. But if your body is giving these warning signs because your husband isn't loving you well and is living a bachelor lifestyle, then I think it's more important right now to listen to your body and perhaps to even say, with prayer and consideration, I think I'm not able to have genuine intimacy with you until we do more work. And that once every 2 months, I realize that's not enough. My heart's still hurting. The bachelor decisions, those aren't working for me. And so I think I might need to withdraw sexually and emotionally until we do the work to get this safe enough for me to open up.
What do you think of what you've heard, Simone?
Pardon me?
What do you think of what we've told you?
No, definitely there's work that needs to be done. And I guess I just need to figure out how to explain this to a counselor. Because when we get there, I don't know.
Simone, play our call for your counselor and get the counselor's take on it. Because the counselor knows so much more than we do, and so the counselor has a reason for their perspective. But this just might help generate more discussion of why are we slowing down in therapy when maybe we need to speed up.
1-800-229-3000.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hey, Simone, we really would love if you and your husband could attend the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. It is next weekend in Washington, D.C. You can find out all about it at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And there's a couple of resources in the newlife.com store that would really help you, that would really benefit your marriage. How We Love is one of them. Worthy of Her Trust is another one. So check those out at the newlife.com store. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. And now here is Claudia in Atlanta, Georgia, listening to us on newlife.com.
Hello.
Hi, Claudia. How can we help you today?
So I'm calling because lately I've been experiencing a lot of anxiety and depression, and that anxiety wakes me up at night. And I did see my primary doctor yesterday, who diagnosed me with severe depression, and my stress levels are really high, and it's due to my marriage. And they had also suggested that maybe I do an outpatient type program to help me kind of feel better regarding the depression and then with the anxiety.
Okay.
And then they also did prescribe an antidepressant, but I'm really hesitant to take that, and I don't know if I'm making the right decision by doing that.
Why are you hesitant?
Because the feelings of the way the body feels when you take those types of medications, I don't do so well. My body is sensitive.
You've taken antidepressants in the past?
I have, and that was back in 92.
And is this the same antidepressant or a different one?
It is a different one.
The side effects are sometimes a barrier. However, when you're in severe depression, the medication can be incredibly helpful because it can help regulate your neurotransmitters. It's a chemical situation that when it's severe depression, it's hard to motivate yourself to do some of the things that you can do to make yourself feel better because your brain just isn't producing what it needs. And the medication will help you with that. And yes, often there are side effects, and so you do have to weigh which is worse. Are the symptoms worse, or is the side effect worse? And often you can take the antidepressant for a time and then work with your doctor to wean off of it once you've gotten over the worst of the depression. And so it's something to consider, to continue to consider. And if your primary care doctor was the prescriber and you're still feeling unsure, what do you think about seeing a psychiatrist and having maybe some deeper conversations about it, and having someone who maybe has more experience with psychotropic medications that can help you find the right fit for you?
Okay. That would be definitely a possibility to do that. Just, how I had to explain to my primary is that sometimes the question pops up is why am I here? And that seems to be more and more of a thought of the question. Things aren't getting better. Why are you still here?
Right. So those questions pop up. Are those questions passive, or are those questions leading to feeling like you don't want to be here and you want to do something about that?
It's more of trying to numb the pain, the fear, because the fear is very paralyzing.
And so do those words help you feel some separation from the fear?
No, it only confuses me even more.
Yeah. Do you have a therapist that you meet with regularly?
I did have a therapist that I was meeting with, but we were just kind of like just scratching the surface of everything. It wasn't, it wasn't for a lengthy amount of time.
And Claudia, if you named a headline, what's one of the most painful things about your marriage? I wonder about your safety if your husband mistreats you verbally or in other ways.
The headline would probably be the mental pain that I experience with him. He's not a safe person to have a conversation with.
He's volatile, perhaps abrasive.
Yes.
Okay.
He just twists everything to make it like it's me and it's not him.
You're just living in daily pain, and you can't be open and upfront with him about what you're feeling and thinking because of his reactivity to you. I can understand your hesitation to take medication. Most of us, we want to figure things out without having to rely on medication. My personal experience is that antidepressants are very helpful for anxiety, and they're much more advanced today than they were even just a few years ago. So they've refined so many of the antidepressants to the point that the side effects are usually passing, meaning they occur in the first 2 weeks, and as the body acclimates, you tend not to continue to experience those side effects. There's even a blood test that can be done to determine which medication would work for you the best. And it takes some of the guesswork and the trial and error out of it. And I think a psychiatrist might be a better place to go, so you're feeling like you have more expertise because of your sensitivity to medication. I don't like taking medication, and I'm an anxious person. And sometimes in seasons in my life, Claudia, I'm a better person when I'm willing to take an antidepressant. And I always come back off of them because usually I end up feeling a little bit better, and I want to do it without. But the severity of what you're going through, I hope you'll prayerfully consider doing a test run with the medication. But I think you have to take it for really a couple of months to be able to determine if it's therapeutically effective for you. And as you say, you're not in counseling anymore, and your house is not safe, at least not emotionally safe. I really want you to take Jacqui's advice to let us connect you with a counselor or reconnect with your old counselor, because you need strategies for how to respond and protect yourself from your husband's abrasiveness.
Yeah, and what was it recommended by the primary care, the intensive outpatient, could be helpful, but my guess is they're going to focus mainly on behavior change for the depression and the anxiety, and that's not going to touch the relational stuff. And it sounds like, from what you just shared, you don't have a willing partner to go into couples therapy with. And so you're going to have to let him do what he does and be who he is. And the antidepressant may give you the energy and the clarity to be able to make choices for yourself that can help you get safer. And so I absolutely think if you could get with a good counselor that can help you work through the intensity of the marriage stuff, as well as what you're dealing with anxiety and depression, that would be best.
How about we send Boundaries?
Boundaries. We're going to send you that book from the newlife.com store. Claudia, thank you for calling in today. Victoria, we're going to talk to you and everyone else at 1-800-229-3000 in just a moment. We're going to be in the studio taking your calls for another hour. So call in, 1-800-229-3000. And when you give to New Life Ministries, you're helping hurting people like the callers you've heard today connect to the help they need. Your generosity makes a difference. You can give online at newlife.com or by calling calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. And if you ever miss an episode of New Life, remember we have an app and you can go and listen to past archives there. God bless you guys. We will be back with you next time here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.